Okay, let's go and throw in our header now. I'm going to start off by adding in my header CSS rule inside the internal style sheet there at the top of my document. You know what I do? I don't know if I'm just a weirdo or what, but what I wind up doing with my list of CSS rules, whether it's internal or external, is I wind up laying out the order of my rules in the same order that my layout appears. In other words, column 1 comes first, so the column 1 rule comes first. Column 3 comes last in the layout, so column 3 comes last in the list of rules. You know what I mean? I don't know why I do that. I guess just to keep it all straight in my head. You don't have to keep them all in order. You can mix them around. It doesn't really matter, unless you're concerned about the cascading effect of CSS. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my header ID selector at the very top of my list of rules. Again, I don't know why, just because I'm nuts, I guess. But anyway, open squiggly, close squiggly. And let's see here. I'm going to throw in margin right 4%. I'll explain why in just a little bit. Let's see here. Margin bottom. I want to create a cushion of space between the header and the rest of the layout. So I'm going to put in a margin bottom of 10 pixels. You can experiment if you want, by the way, using percentages here instead of pixels. It's entirely up to you. And I'm also going to throw on that margin left that we had used in the previous exercise, the margin left of 1%. That should be fine. And then let's throw on a background color as well. So background, again, this is a temporary background color, so you can use what you want. I'm going to stick with $CCC, close semicolon. Okay, save it up, flip back to your browser, refresh, we get nothing. Now, any guesses why we get nothing? What do we need to do? Well, first of all, I'm going to head back to my code here. We don't have a header div inside our body yet, right? So that's one reason why we're not getting anything. And the other reason, too, is the div that we're about to insert needs to contain content so that it actually shows up, right? So I'm just going to speed things up here by copying and pasting an existing div and just changing his ID to header and to match the name of my selector at the top there. And then I'll throw in some text here as well, header. Now save and refresh. And there's our header there. Now, a couple of things. We're not getting our cushion of space there. I'm going to have to go and investigate that. And the other thing, too, is the height is really shallow, too, isn't it? So you can leave that if you want, or for whatever reason, normally my my headers wind up being about 100 pixels in height. I don't know why, but that's just usually what I wind up using. So I'm going to add in a height here of 100 pixels like this. There we go. And I wonder why my margin bottom is not taking. I'm not seeing why that's not happening, but anyway, I'll save that up and refresh. There we go. All right, something's up with my margin bottom. I'm going to have to figure that out. But there we go. There's our header anyway. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and investigate my margin bottom. I probably made a typo. Ah, I did. It's just not it's not my typey day today. Anyway, there we go. You know what? Stuff like this would like hang me up for, well, maybe not that obvious, but if you've ever gotten hung up on something for like, 3/4 of an hour and you're like, what the hell? And then you realize that you forgot a semicolon or you forgot to close a quote. That's in my years and years of web design. That is what I've realized is when something major goes wrong, it's usually something incredibly minor that you did in your code or that you forgot in your code. Anyway, that's cool. We have that happening. Now let's go and throw in our footer.